1962, after the success of characters like the Fantastic Four, Ant-Man, and the Hulk, Stan Lee wanted his next superhero to be a little different. Turning his attention to the Norse Viking lore, Stan's next ideal character would be godly indeed. With the help of Larry Lieber on scripts and legendary Jack Kirby on art, the trio would create a character that would join Marvel's mighty pantheon and is still considered to be one of Stan Lee's and Jack Kirby's best creations to date. In this episode of Tony's Comic Spotlight, we shine the spotlight on the first appearance of the Mighty Thor in Journey into Mystery number 83 from 1962. Part 1. The Mighty Thor and the Stone Men from Saturn. Donald Blake, a doctor from the United States, is visiting Norway. At the same time, a ship from Saturn lands nearby with advanced scouts for a planned invasion. A local fisherman spots them and alerts the villagers, but they dismiss him. Blake overhears and goes to look for himself. When he steps on a twig, the aliens notice him. He flees into the hills where he loses his cane. He runs into a cave, but the other entrance is blocked by a giant boulder. A secret door opens, revealing a chamber where Blake finds a walking stick. He tries to remove the boulder with the stick, but is unable to get leverage. Frustrated, he hits the boulder with the stick, and in a flash of light, the stick transforms into a hammer, transforming Donald Blake into Thor, the mythical Norse god of thunder. Part 2. The Power of Thor. Thor easily lifts the boulder and leaves the cave. He verifies that the hammer has all the powers of Mjolnir, Thor's legendary weapon. He discovers it gives him the power to storms, and that the hammer is indestructible and will come back to him if thrown. Meanwhile, the alien armada shows up on Earth's radar screens. When fighter jets scramble to meet them, they project an image of a huge dragon and frighten away the pilots. When the ground forces fire missiles, they explode harmlessly against the ship's force fields. Thor speeds to the defense of the Earth. Part 3. The Mighty Thor Strikes Back. When Thor attacks the aliens, they drop a cage over him, but he tears the bars open. They aim their disintegration beams at him, but his hammer smashes their guns. They unleash their Mecha monster and smashes it to bits. The aliens return to their ships and give up their invasion. Thor changes back to Dr. Blake, whom the soldiers ignore when they come to look for the invaders. The end. This is the first appearance of Thor. It appears that Donald Blake is Thor's true identity here, but it is later revealed in Thor 159 that Odin had stripped Thor of his memory of his true identity. Odin had Thor surrender his hammer to him and then sent him to Earth in the mortal guise of a crippled young medical student named Donald Blake. After Thor had spent 10 years in the role of Blake, Odin planted within Blake's mind the suggestion to take a vacation in Norway, where, as seen in this issue, he came to the cavern where Odin had left Thor's hammer in the enchanted form of a wooden cane. At first, Thor has no memory of his past life as an Asgardian god, although as the series continues, more of his memories return. This is the first appearance of the Cronins, who are called the Stone Men from Saturn, in this issue. Korg and his brother Margus and Ard first appear here unnamed. Korg and Margus are named in Incredible Hulk Volume 2, number 93, while Ard was identified in Incredible Hulk number 620. This issue's fight perspective is later retold from Korg's perspective in Incredible Hulk Volume 2, number 94, during the Planet Hulk arc. Also in the Planet Hulk animated film, there is a scene where Thor fights the Kronians in a battle similar to the one seen here. The Kronins are green on the cover, but orange within the story itself. The creation of Thor's hammer is somewhat scientifically possible. Thor's famous weapon is his hammer called Mjolnir, and it was formed in an astronomical way, quite literally. Thor's hammer was forged in the core of a dying star in the Marvel Universe. In our universe, when a star is dying, its core becomes so hot that it produces a dense matter called neutronium. It's estimated that a single teaspoon of the matter could weigh billions of tons like Thor's hammer. The science behind some elements in Marvel's Thor movies is based on theories we have in this universe to make it more believable. The love of Thor's life is Jane Foster. When Thor is in his human form as Donald Blake, he falls in love with Jane Foster. She was a nurse of Dr. Donald Blake, and their love interest developed over time. However, their romantic love life has an unexpected twist when Jane turns into Thor. Jane steps in to defend Asgard, and as a result, she turns into Thor. Thor and Jane dated on and off, but when Odin erased her memory of Asgard upon her return to Earth, she started dating someone new. Thor had many relationships, but none were the same as Jane Foster. Odin tried to have an arranged marriage for Thor. Odin feared that Thor was too caught up with his relationship with Jane Foster on Earth, so not only did Odin erase her memory, he tried to arrange a marriage to bring Thor back. The warrior Sif was sent to Earth to entice Thor into a loving relationship and eventually convince him to return to Asgard. Odin arranged for Sif and Thor to marry back in Asgard. However, Thor was still fascinated with Jane, and the relationship between him and Sif failed. As well as Loki, Thor has a half-brother named Atum. Both Thor and Atum share their mother Gaia, the goddess of Earth. Atum is Thor's older half-brother, and they both inherited different traits from their mother. Thor's father Odin had a son who would be able to understand and survive life on Earth, so was the trait inherited from his mother. However, Atum is very different from Thor. Atum is the physical embodiment of the Earth's biosphere, which means he is more powerful than Thor. The two don't have much of a relationship. However, there was an encounter in the Marvel Universe with Atum when he was in the form of Demogorgon. Atum is much stronger than Thor, however. When Thor was consumed, he managed to use his hammer Mjolnir to strike Atum's heart, and he was able to escape back to Earth. Comic book fans know Jane Foster becomes Thor in 2014, taking on the mantle when Odinson becomes unworthy. But Jane broke ground in a much earlier comic, What If number 10. In this 1970s comic book, Jane discovers the hammer instead of Donald Blake, and she becomes Thordis, the goddess of thunder. Thordis' story plays out similarly to Thor's early adventures in Earth 616 continuity, though she chooses her unique name in honor of a Norwegian woman she went to nursing school with. Comic book fans know Thor debuted in Journey into Mystery number 83 in 1962 at the dawn of the Marvel Universe. But co-creator Jack Kirby actually introduced a Thor in DC Comics in 1957, until the unexpected number 16. This version contains visual elements such as the circular medallions on Thor's armor that would carry on over into Marvel. Kirby's longtime interest in gods and mythology, later realized in his grand vision for Eternals, ties together this very obscure comic with the iconic Thor superhero who would have appeared 5 years later. MCU fans know very well Thor's contentious relationship with his brother Loki. Marvel Comics fans know Thor's family expanded in recent years to include a long-lost sister, Angela. Though Hela somewhat took this role in live action, a chance still remains for Angela to appear in the MCU thanks to her connection to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Thor himself, Angela originally appeared in comics from a different company. Angela first appeared in Spawn issue number 9, an angelic bounty hunter co-created by Neil Gaiman and Todd McFarlane. Legal disputes over royalties ultimately led Gaiman to acquiring complete control of her and then later selling her to Marvel. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Tony's Comic Spotlight, where we took a look back at the first appearance of the Mighty Thor in Journey into Mystery number 83. If you're enjoying my content, please like and subscribe. It does really mean a lot to me. I'm going to post some links down in the description box below for some other YouTube content creators. You should check out their videos and give them a subscribe. I'm sure they would really appreciate it. We got the CBC Awards nominations opening on May 13th, so that's next Saturday, I believe. And as of this recording, I'm around 190 subscribers. So when I hit that 200 mark, I'm going to start giving out the details for my 200 subscriber giveaway. I've got some pretty good stuff on deck for that. I want to thank everybody for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. And in the next episode, we're going to take a look at the first appearance of Tony Stark, the Iron Man, in Tales of Suspense number 39. So I hope you come back to check that out. And as always, be safe, take care, God bless. See ya.